All right, great. Hello, testing over. Great, welcome back. I appreciate your patience as we got this set up. Just to kind of give you a sense, we, as I think I mentioned in some prior lunch and learns, we are in our HR office really trying to promote some ongoing wellness for all of our employees. So I know we were part of the BMI screenings that we had, and we've been offering that throughout the IU. I know we actually got down to Patton the last month or the month before. So we are really trying to cover our intermediate unit and really trying to do some things with wellness. We're also trying to educate our staff on different things that are already out there that you can access to really improve wellness and to look at parts of your life that really you can actually move forward with on an individual basis. One of those things is nutritional counseling. So just to kind of get that kick started, we brought Tom Gurman in from Wellness Coaching to kind of give a presentation on what nutritional counseling really looks like, kind of an overview of it, and also how you can access that. For those of you who have IBC as your provider, you actually get 6 free sessions. And if you're not with IBC, or if you're on another plan, they may have similar opportunities to get free nutritional counseling sessions. And these sessions really are great ways to have somebody that you can speak with about your own eating habits, nutritional habits, and ways that those things can be changed or altered to kind of improve your lifestyle. And it's something that I don't think everyone knows about, but it's also something that really, with that investment of time, could really help you in terms of wellness. On top of that, what we're going to be trying to do here is also bring in wellness coaches. So anybody who wants to select them as a nutritional counselor, we're going to give them some opportunities to come to our building, which for those individuals who are able to, gives them an opportunity even close to the work here to have those counseling sessions over the next several months. So it's just some things that we're trying to do in terms of wellness. So at this point, I'm going to hand off to Tom, who's going to kind of give an overview of what this nutritional counseling looks like. And then we're going to kind of follow up after this meeting to really set out some information if you want to take advantage of that. So go ahead, Tom. Thank you.
Appreciate it. You guys hear me? Yep. Okay, good. So my name's Tom Gurman. I'm from Wellness Coaches. It's actually a local company. We're based out of Bluebell. So I had a nice 15-minute drive through construction to get here. That was pretty easy. So what I'm here today to do is to talk to you about the nutrition counseling program and provide a little bit of information so you can feel comfortable about pursuing that as an option for yourself. Listening to everything that's going on, you guys are involved, sounds like, with a lot, and you're involved with helping people on a constant basis, helping small children on a constant basis. You might not be taking a lot of time for yourself. Everyone talks about work-life balance and self-care. Those are all important buzzwords that people talk about. This is an opportunity to provide a little work-life balance, a little self-care for yourself right here in the workplace. So I think it's great that your HR department is providing this as an opportunity. I'm just going to go through a few different things to look at to hopefully provide you with the proper information to make that choice for yourself to pursue nutrition counseling. I do want to say that 6 sessions per calendar year. So if you've already were involved with sessions, perhaps through a different organization last year, odds are you've got 6 fresh sessions that you can take advantage of. It's not just 6 throughout your lifetime. You have the opportunity to meet with a nutrition counselor 6 times per calendar year. So I wanted to make sure you guys felt comfortable with that if you had already pursued some options earlier in your life. So I'm just going to go through a little bit about this, talk about who we are, how it works, why you should be interested, and then what you can expect in next steps. So anybody have any questions off the start? Well, maybe if we do, feel free, raise your hand, shout it out, whatever. I'd like this to sort of be a back and forth if you guys do have some questions. So don't hesitate. It seems like they're not an active question group, so I don't expect much, but if that happens, feel comfortable, feel free. So Wellness Coaches ourselves, we were formed in 2002. Like I said, it is based out of Bluebell, so we are a very local company. We are in 35 states with over 500 clients, so we are active. We work in multiple different settings, from manufacturing to pharmaceutical, schools, you name it, we found our niche. So we found some ways for our coaches, our nutrition counselors, to find their way, find their niche in an environment, regardless of the environment, to make sure you feel comfortable and to have a confidential conversation with that qualified individual. So we found our way, found our niche to be able to to incorporate ourselves and be a little bit part of that environment. So what we believe is everyone's to be healthy and safe, but it's not an easy thing to do, right? We see so much information on Instagram or on Facebook about what foods you should be eating, right? We all have seen those little memes and those descriptions of eat this, not that, and all those other areas. But how often do we really feel as though we're confident in that information being qualified and being specific? It creates confusion. Every other day, coffee's good or coffee's bad. Every other day, red wine, great, dark chocolate, bad. We get confused, right? We watch the news and read any sort of thing in the newspaper. It can be a little frustrating. So this is an opportunity to have someone to talk about that. Talk about the latest diet fads. Talk about some things that you've heard and you want to try, but you want to make sure it's safe for you. It's an opportunity for you to try something like keto, for example, if you're really interested in doing that, but to talk about your blood panel that you recently had, right? There was an opportunity where guys recently had those things to make sure you're not going to be thrown off your lipid profile. That's an opportunity for you to have those conversations. We feel as though people want to have one-on-one support, right? It's great to go in there and have a group presentation, but you might not feel comfortable asking questions in that group setting. So to have a one-on-one nutrition counselor can be a great opportunity for you to have a confidential conversation and one that's specific to yourself. And we feel as though doing this on the workplace is great, right? You guys have had an opportunity to meet with a nutrition counselor for years. There's probably not too many of you actually done it, despite the interest in doing it, right? If you have the opportunity to take 20 minutes during your lunch break or take 20 minutes during your day and actually sit down and talk to someone who's just around the corner, we've taken that barrier of travel out of the picture. So all of our registered dietitians have a 4-year degree in nutrition or dietetics. They've all completed an accredited program and internship, and they've passed a registered exam. So it's not just someone who's just saying, hey, I'm a nutritionist and I know about nutrition. These are people who are qualified and certified to work in the state of Pennsylvania. They also undergo rigorous in-house training programs that's based on wellness coaching. So within wellness coaches, we have a few different divisions. We've got our wellness coaches who go and talk about stress management and nutrition or exercise and any sort of areas in between. Then we've got our nutrition counselors. And what we found is we can help our nutritionists work on some of that same methodology of coaching, not just saying, here's your diet program, right? As you guys who have backgrounds in education, not every kid learns the same way, right? You got to find different ways to impact them, find different ways to motivate them. Some of our coaching methodology is geared towards that specifically, to find what might work for you. And our goal is to have the same nutritionist on an everyday basis or every opportunity basis. There might be some issues from time to time, but our goal is to have that same nutritionist here available for you. That's going to help create continuity and make sure you feel comfortable talking with them. And that way they have your background information. And receive ongoing mentoring and support. Engagement is key with this, right? We need to find and make sure that you all feel comfortable talking and speaking with that person. So an engaging conversation is one that you're going to want to come back to. So how this works, if you do have Independence Blue Cross as a coverage, you get up to 6 free sessions a year. So that's a covered benefit under Independence Blue Cross. If you're covered under, perhaps a spouse's benefits, you very well still may have coverage. Depending on Aetna or Cigna, we will run an eligibility check. So what we do is have everyone come in that's interested, have an initial meeting. We'll run an eligibility check. Our RDs will do that. There's nothing you need to do. Just bring a license and your insurance card. We'll run that check and make sure you're qualified or not. If you're not, then we'll notify you and we'll work around some adjustments there that may need to be done. But if you are, run that, scan that, and there is no out-of-pocket cost for you. So at no point are you ever have to say, I need to come here with a copay, $20 bill or whatever. No, everything is covered through your insurance. You are covered for up for 6 sessions per year, and that is actually a little bit of a typo there. It's January 31st is the first session. I do have a sign-up sheet here for our initial instructions. Moving forward, we'll actually have a link where you can view the registered dietitian's available schedule. So that link will be set up. You can get an email sent to you, and it'll say, Tom Gurman, I'd like to have an appointment for next Friday, the 7th at 2 o'clock. And I'll just be able to populate that time. You'll be able to populate that for yourself. You'll see availabilities. There's no emails back and forth. It makes it very easy to schedule. Session lengths are about 20 minutes on the short end to an hour on the long end. So it really depends on how much time and how much conversation you really do get into. So that is available for you. Our appointments are in hour blocks, so you do have up to that time if you really do have interest in that. Typically, our first conversation is a little bit longer to make sure we get the proper background information and get to know you a little bit better. Do you guys have any questions about that? So the keys are, you don't need to bring any money. It's covered. You have up to 6 sessions a year. You will provide a scheduling link for you. That way you can go in there and populate the time that you might have interest in. And if you aren't covered by Independence Blue Cross, and you do have a different provider, we'll still meet with you. We'll run an eligibility check and let you know if it works. So I got a few questions here, and I'm hoping now we get a little participation. Anybody know what metabolic syndrome is? Okay, well, metabolic, we're thinking about the body, we're thinking about nutrition. So we're taking a look at blood pressure, blood sugar, waist circumference being the other area we're going to look at. So if you are struggling with 1/3 of this, 1/3 of all adults meet the criteria for metabolic syndrome. They have high blood pressure. They have uncontrolled diabetes. They're overweight. Those are all different areas where a nutrition counselor can actually meet with you, have a conversation, walk through some blood panel numbers, and provide you with the best information. Not a prescribed diet, but something that's going to work for you, right? Prescribed diet's difficult. We could spend an hour talking about and writing down everything that you're should eat. If you don't go to Wegmans and buy all those things, we just waste an hour of our time, right? So the idea is to actually talk to you about what's realistic. Set a realistic plan for you so it's something that's attainable. Childhood obesity. I think I'm in the right room for this. Why do you think I'm talking about childhood obesity? You read it before, you saw it. Children are a sponge. If I sit around and I swear in front of a bunch of kids, what are they going to do the next day? They're going to swear. If I sit down and everything I eat is from a bag of chips or it's coming from a vending machine, what are your children going to do? They're going to replicate that behavior. So it's so important for us to establish, not just kids that might be in a school, your own children. I don't have children. I got nieces and nephews. I guarantee if I sit down and I just throw soda in front of them every time I babysit, what are they going to do? They're going to grow up looking for soda and looking for soda. So it's important to be able to establish some healthy routines so that you can positively impact a child that's around you. And then sleep and fatigue. How many of you slept well last night? Okay, we got a thumbs up in the back, my man. Thank you. That's good. That's good. But I hear a lot of laughing, so there's probably a lot of us that didn't. How do you feel as though your diet is when you don't sleep well? It's worse. I live in Lansdale. Nino's is right around the corner for me. If I have the opportunity and I'm tired and my wife and I didn't plan what we were going to have, Nino's delivers. We're going to call it up, and it's sad we don't even walk there for it. So that really does impact us, right? We're going to drink more coffee that dehydrates us. We're going to change our diets and our perception of the foods we want to eat. All that is a relationship of sleep and fatigue. And it's actually a terrible little cycle too, because if we're eating higher fat foods, higher sugar foods right before we go to sleep, what's going to happen? And we're eating to stay awake. In my coaching experience, I always hear people say, I'm just eating to try and stay awake and watch a show. Well, then you're just adding in more calories, and that food's going to kick in at 2:30 in the morning, and you're going to be wide awake. So there's a little bit of a relationship there as well. So some things that you can talk to about these sort of areas with nutrition counselors. Committing to a diet that's rich in fruits and vegetables. We don't prescribe diets, but our coaches and our RDs typically do recommend a Mediterranean diet. It's something that's a little bit more fresh, green. Those are all elements of that Mediterranean diet. Create a healthier lifestyle, better nutrition, and regular activity. Ways to incorporate that with your own children. Ways to incorporate those foods. Talk about meal prep. Talk about meal planning with your family. Promote a healthy circadian rhythm, and talk about healthier options and behaviors before you try and go to bed. Healthier options, things to eat and try. So that way you wake up feeling a little bit more fresh, like my guy back here. So why you should be interested. We talked about some other areas of which you should be interested. If you're training for anything, any sort of physical activity, a marathon or any sort of plan or exercise, you can talk about the diet plan to make that a little bit more specific for you and what your goals are. Weight management, obviously, nutrition counseling. Everyone thinks of weight management right away. Sleep and personal energy. Stress management. Oftentimes people stress eat, right? If there's an element that our nutrition counselors can work with you a little bit in some stress behavior techniques, well, that's going to positively impact what that stress eating looks like as well. So there's an inverse relationship there as well. Disease management and physical recovery and injury prevention. You know, our RDs are also wellness coaches in many other opportunities. So if you've got something going on with your neck and shoulder, ask them real quick, what's a stretch that I can try? What's some small little behavioral thing that I can do if I'm spending all day hunched in front of a laptop or a computer? They're a resource for that as well. So what you can expect is a comprehensive dietary assessment and a look at your personal dietary needs. That's what an RD does. That's what they're trained to look at and have a conversation with you about. Meal planning and food prep. That's one that I've found in my conversations with our RDs, what people take away from it as much as anything. It's how to make meal prep a realistic thing. Everyone wants to try and sit down on a Sunday night and chop up vegetables and make a salad and everything. But how do I realistically do this? How do I incorporate my family to make that a realistic thing where I don't have little kids running around my feet all the time while I'm trying to chop a carrot? That's a safety issue. So how to incorporate that and make that part of your daily routine in life. And then coaching towards mindful eating and improved nutritional habits. Anyone have a concept or idea of what mindful eating might be?
Portions.
Okay, that's an example. Yeah. Go ahead.
Not eating too late in the night.
So a little bit of awareness to the portion size and timing of when you're eating. Go ahead.
Speed that you're eating.
Slowing down. Those are all great examples of mindful eating. How about, you know, great examples, great ideas. How about mindless eating? Oh, we got some little laughter there because we've all been in there. Peanut butter filled pretzels from Trader Joe's are my mindless eat. So I can identify, right? And you can see what it is, right? We all know that food that we have that's kind of a trigger. We'll bring the bag over. But an alternative, if portion size, you put it in a small bowl when you bring it over. Or you make sure that you know, I'm not going to eat these pretzels after 8 o'clock at night because I'm trying to go to bed. Like those are examples of adding mindfulness into our food. It's great participation. Our coaches, our RDs can talk about some strategies to incorporate mindfulness as an opportunity for managing portion, managing how you might sleep better, even mindfulness as it pertains to stress. So you can also expect the opportunity to have a blood pressure check while you're here at work. You don't need to go to Rite Aid and throw your arm in there. Body compositions, we have scales that will measure body fat percentage, hydration levels as well. So that's something that our RDs will bring on every time that they're here, and we can take a look at that. And waist circumference, we typically don't do too much of. If that's something you really want to do, we can provide that. But we found that the body composition scales will actually provide you a little bit more accurate reading there. So along the way, they can check on your progress. Accountability is another thing that people really do look for, right? They really might have a great idea of things they want to try and ways to incorporate that. But sometimes it's great to have a third-party person to bounce continual ideas off of, or to sort of, if you ask, sort of keep you in place and keep you in check, right? Accountability is a big part of this. Share resources, information, and provide additional activities. There might be lunch and learns or some things to help sort of promote along the way that in a setting like this, maybe take 15 minutes and do a small little lunch and learn. So some proactive engagement could be something we work towards as well. So keys for ingredients, key ingredients for success. It's voluntary and confidential. So you don't have to do this, but it's a resource that is available for you. If you do decide to take advantage of it, it's 100% confidential. Right, our RD is not going to say to, on your way out the door with the next person waiting in line, hey, make sure you don't eat the pizza tonight, or make sure you go and check your blood pressure because it was really high. Like that's not something we're going to do. All of these meetings are held behind a closed door and are kept confidential. And they're right in the workplace. Do you guys have any questions now that we walked through some of this? Go ahead.
Confidential, that means it does not get shared with any of
supervisors or anything large scale like that? Human work, no. Everything. So our RDs are held under the same HIPAA regulations that any nurse, doctor would be. So they do keep a log that's needed to process that through Independence Blue Cross, and that's, again, HIPAA regulated. They go through, it's a similar chart that any physician or any nurse would be keeping a chart on. But we do not, at the end of the day, go and report to HR or anything. Any other questions? So I do have a sign-up sheet here. Again, this is for the initial time on January 31st, Friday, from 8 to 4. 8 to 3 will be the last appointment, but 8 to 4, we will have an RD here on site. Moving forward, we will be able to provide a link, and we'll provide it to Anita, and she can send that out via email so that you can have that direct link to schedule and make appointments. This initial time is a little bit more complex as we're working to get Autumn, who would be the RD, all set and ready to go. Any other questions? Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. Let's give Tom a hand. Thank you. Yeah, just a couple of things logistically, and thank you very much for the presentation, Tom. That was great. In terms of the on-site piece, number one is it would have to done through a lunch or break period. So part of your lunch hour. Make sure your supervisor is in the loop and aware and approves that time. To the extent that it's an initial session. I think we talked about the initial sessions being about 45 minutes. We just got to make sure that's all very comfortable with your work schedule. I think our supervisors can be a little flexible in terms of, you'll be here from 8 to 4 on Friday. So potentially you could take that lunch period at a different part of your day if that works. But ongoing for sure, we want to make sure that all these sessions are done during that lunch period that you have each day. That's just a logistical item from the Human Resources Office. That's our message. If you're not able to do these on site, we're also going to send out, and certainly the wellness coaches is one of them. They do have office hours and evening hours and all types of ways to kind of work with your schedule. So to the extent that we're trying to bring them in and have them available here in our building, and I think frankly we're going to try to be expansive about this as well, and get them out to other buildings as there's some demand to have that out there, either in our patent office, our early learning academy, other places throughout the county that potentially they could help us and serve it on site. We're going to be looking to be expansive. They are also available in other ways to make sure that nutritional counseling happens kind of at your convenience. So don't let the fact that you don't want to do it on site stop you from getting that nutritional counseling if you'd like to have that. In terms of, I think, other logistical items, it is 6 sessions per year. I think typically the time between sessions is every 2 weeks or 4 weeks. It's
you can burn them up 6 weeks in a row if you really wanted to, but that's not recommended, right? To be able to track progress and really get the opportunity to make some changes for yourself, it's probably recommended to maybe spread that out. I would say, in my experience, monthly is probably the best way to do it. That way you've got time to work on those items that you keep going with.
Great. So as we look, so go ahead, Christy. Yes. Yeah, just so you know, it was calendar year, so it's from from January to December each year. So yeah, we are looking at trying to promote this any way you can. You'll get an email from Anita. Wellness Coach is not the only provider of nutritional counseling. So if there's something that's more convenient to you where you live, or just you want to go a different direction, for us as a wellness committee here at the intermediate unit, it's just important that you know about the opportunity, and that if you want to do that, that you reach out and make that work for yourself. But Wellness Coaches is one that's come very highly recommended to us. So certainly that might be one you want to consider.
So the RD will provide those. Okay, the RD will provide that whenever you leave. But there's also, as of right now, the portal is not completed. But that's one of those things that to be determined, that to be provided in a later date. We'll have like a portal where you can sort of check in on. So that's a little bit further down the line. But back and forth email is something that our RDs typically do. Our email and everything is encrypted, so it's not a confidential, from a confidentiality standpoint. Again, you can still feel comfortable that those emails and those check-in sessions can be done in a appropriate way.
And on that piece of the confidential, the locations of the meetings, obviously we need to find space for wellness coaches when they do come in. We can't always promise confidentiality of when you enter and exit the sessions, but we are trying to be cognizant of that. And we are, we're in human resources. Confidentiality is very important when it comes to anyone's health. So we're going to make sure that, in terms of rosters and lists and things like that, we would never share that in any way. But certainly in terms of getting approval to go, if it's outside your normal work time, you may need to work with your supervisor and let them know what you're doing. But certainly the rest of that is all very confidential. So, and on Friday, Anita's mentioned is into the DeKalb conference room. So if you are able to come and want to do a session on Friday, that'll actually be held in DeKalb. I think we have some other ideas in the future of some other spaces that are a little more private than DeKalb. So. Yeah, the question was, if you can't take advantage of it on Friday this week, which is 2 days away, can you jump on in the future? Absolutely. And to the extent that you have 6 per year, you can really jump on at any time that really works for you, Donna. So, yep. All right. Is there other questions? I think I've covered everything in my regard. Just to kind of close it down, we're going to continue. Is Jackie Krell still here? Is Jackie? Jackie really helped us with our wellness website. So if you have a chance to go and visit that wellness website, thank you very much, Jackie, for that. That's up and going. It's kind of a work in progress. We put more information up there, but there's already some good things up there to go and check on your wellness. And we'll continue. Anita, thank you very much for all your coordination on this. We're going to continue to kind of bring forward more wellness as we enter this 2020 year. So otherwise, thank you. And if you want to sign up, it's up front here. So, all right. Thanks a lot, everybody.